Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
Breaking news just into our newsroom. We're following reports of a man possibly stuck in a grain elevator in Arvilla, North Dakota. Officials say there are several authorities on scene of what seems to be a rescue of some sort. We have a crew heading to the scene right now, so stick with us here on Valley News Live for more updates in this story. And right now, it's the calm before the storm, as a lot of you are getting ready to hit the road for the 4th of July holiday. Potentially severe weather is heading our way. Let's check in with Hutch Johnson from our backyard barbecue right away for the very latest. Hutch.
Thanks so much, Melanie. We're out here in South Moorhead tonight. It is sunny, it's warm, not much of a cooling breeze, but boy, do we have the spirit of the 4th of July here with our winter. First and foremost, let's take a look at that radar. We do have a couple of thunderstorms firing here in the eastern third of North Dakota as we begin our evening. Just a few clouds in the FM area. Down near Sisseton, we have some thunder showers that seem to be waning, although it looks like we've lost our lightning data there right on the state line as we head into the afternoon. Now, taking you up north a little bit, we do have some showers making their way from the Kidder County area through Benson and Ramsey County. So a noisy evening out to the west. That's where things are firing, and there will be a chance that a couple of these storms could be severe. We have a severe thunderstorm watch through midnight for the area you see within that blue box there, and it includes our southeast North Dakota counties and up to around the Highway 200 area. There is a risk for even more storm development as we go through the overnight hours, so we'll have to keep our guard up, but you take it easy. Enjoy your own outdoor activities and keep the Valley News Live storm team handy. Here's your planner for this evening. Spotty thunder shower activity this evening. Then as we go through the late overnight hours, it looks like we could see more storms push in from the west. As we go through the deep overnight and into the morning hours even, we could have some thunderstorms for your 4th of July. Even the overnight storms will have the potential for gusty wind and hail, but this afternoon storms could be the most potent thanks to all the heat of the day. Temperatures slipping into the 70s for our evening. Chance of thunderstorms here in Fargo cannot be ruled out, even though they're well to our west right now. It'll be later for us. Grand Forks, likewise, storms into the overnight with pretty mild and comfortable conditions, albeit a little on the warm side for the evening. Right now, joining me, I'm going to step up over here, is our winner of the Cashwise Backyard Barbecue, Bill Woods. Bill, tell us where you signed up to win.
We signed up at Cashwise, care of Tony.
Oh, okay. Well, Tony, he helps keep everybody.
I wave at anybody that wears Cashwise colors. I'm sorry about that.
Very good. You got a very festive-looking group. You guys must have spent all day decorating.
Pretty much.
Are you in charge of decorating?
Oh, that's responsibility coming elsewhere.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll tell you what.
She always does a great job.
Well, she does a great job. We're all decked out here. The steaks are on the grill. Oh, you have something else?
Oh, we have a young family over here with 2 young future baseball players.
Well, I could see that, and they must be spuds.
Well, probably.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll check back in here with you, Bill, in just a couple of minutes. But for now, we'll send it back into the studio. It's hot now, stormy tonight. I'll have details in your hour-by-hour forecast for the big 4th of July holiday coming up here in just a few moments. Melanie?
Okay, thank you, Hutch. High temps and plenty of June showers have made the perfect conditions for mosquitoes, which could put a damper on your 4th of July plans if you're not prepared. But with all the different products on store shelves claiming to keep you bug-free, Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley talked with a local expert about what's actually worth your money.
Cass County Vector Control says despite their persistent spraying, mosquitoes are still going to crash your barbecues and fireworks shows this weekend. So to fight back, Ben Prather says it's best to treat your lawn with something like this as soon as you can.
And going around and looking for shaded areas specifically, so long grass, shelter belts, areas where mosquitoes are resting, maybe underneath a shed or underneath a porch or patio.
He says it's also not a bad idea to pick up something like this.
This is when you're right outside, right when you're at the barbecue grill, and you're getting bit up by mosquitoes. You're noticing mosquitoes flying around. you're lighting off your fireworks. This is basically what a truck sprayer does. This is an immediate knockdown.
And for even more backup, Prather says these new heated lantern bug shields will help shoo off those annoying pests as well.
You're not going to be able to cover a whole, patio or, expect it to be absolute perfect. You're going to still have mosquitoes.
He says while all these products aren't risk-free, they are safe for your kids and pets to use as well as be around. Prather added that even if you can't grab some of these products before the 4th, it's probably best to pick up some soon, as July is looking to be pretty buggy.
July is going to be an interesting month. We've had really high temperatures. We've had a lot of rain spread out across a couple of different events, and that really causes us some pretty significant challenges.
Now, Melanie, we just got done talking about all the things that you should do to protect yourself from those mosquitoes, but we didn't really talk about what you shouldn't do. I got both of these mosquito repellent bracelets at a local store today. They're only about 99 cents a piece, but Prather says they're not worth any of your money. They're not going to protect you from any of those mosquitoes. Now, another thing that you should cross off your list is these citronella oil candles. Now, Prather says they actually attract more mosquitoes than they detract. They say that there's putting light, more air, and then all that CO2 that's only going to attract all the mosquitoes to your barbecue and your fireworks show this weekend. Reporting live in South Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Okay, Bailey, thank you for that live report. Meanwhile, the first case of West Nile virus has been reported in North Dakota. The state health department says it's the first case of the disease this season. The person infected lives in McHenry County and was not hospitalized. Officials with the health department say most people infected with West Nile virus experience no symptoms, but those who do develop symptoms typically have a fever, headache, body or joint aches, or a rash. Moorhead police are asking for your help finding a person of interest. They say 21-year-old Xavier Robertson has multiple warrants out for his arrest, including a felony probation violation for discharging a firearm that endangers safety. If you have any information on his whereabouts, you're urged to call Red River Regional Dispatch at 701-451-7660. The Fargo Police Department wants to warn you about a registered sex offender living in North Fargo. 34-year-old Carrie Allison Knutson is living at 721 14th Street North. He was convicted of corruption of a minor and luring a minor by computer in Grand Forks County in 2015. His victim was a 16-year-old girl. Knutson has been assessed as a high-risk offender. He's a lifetime registrant. A woman and a child are both in stable condition following a wreck near the Mapleton exit on Interstate 94. 26-year-old Katrina Sitchin and a 7-year-old were transported to Sanford Hospital for their injuries following the crash that happened around 11:45 today. Troopers said the 26-year-old was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the accident. They say she was heading westbound on I-94 when she swerved toward the median and then overcorrected, causing her to lose control. That's when the vehicle rolled and ended up in the ditch. Sitchin was thrown from the vehicle, but luckily survived. Investigators are trying to figure out how many officers were involved in a shooting Tuesday night that left a suspect dead. It happened around 6 o'clock after officers were sent out to a possible domestic assault in Eagan, Minnesota. When officers arrived, they say they found a man with a gun, and after a short foot pursuit, officers were able to contain the man. Officers were in a standoff with the suspect, attempting negotiations for several hours. At some point during those negotiations, shots were fired. The male suspect was struck and was later pronounced dead at a local hospital.
Some witness and some discharged their firearms, so we're still yet to come up with a final tally as to how many officers were put on paid administrative leave.
Multiple agencies from neighboring cities assisted with this incident. There's a crackdown on those annoying constant calls that never seem to stop from telemarketers and scammers. The FCC is now opening the door for phone companies to automatically block so-called robocalls before ever reaching your number. Our Washington correspondent Alana Austin gets to the bottom of this issue that's disturbing so many consumers.
Mason Ferris's phone rang all the time. Sometimes the person on the other line would be aggressive, demanding personal information. Then the calls started bombarding his entire family.
It was crazy. Unbelievable calls all the time.
After thousands of unwanted calls over a few years, Ferris felt so frustrated he went to the consumer protection firm for help.
And these calls are just draining on the phones and draining us.
Companies tracking this trend report more than 2 billion robocalls harass U.S. consumers each month. Now the FCC will allow the phone companies to block more of these calls.
Robocalls are the #1 source of complaints that the FCC gets each and every year.
FCC Chair Ajit Pai says he does not think call blocking by default will cost customers more, as this technology is still cheaper than handling the barrage of robocall complaints from consumers.
Our hope is that this is one of the tools in the toolbox that will help mitigate this flood of robocalls that is driving consumers crazy.
But there's pushback from a few trade groups concerned that FCC's new rule could unintentionally block important calls from getting through, like from your doctor or bank. Legitimate calls that are blocked can get through if they're appealed. But Leah Dempsey with ACA International worries it won't work.
Let's not put the cart ahead of the horse. We support what you're doing. We think it's a very worthwhile effort, but let's make sure we get it right.
The FCC is also ramping up the enforcement of fines to punish illegal robocalls. In Washington, I'm Alana Austin.
Unwanted robocalls are far and away the top consumer complaint the FCC gets. They make up 60% of their complaints. The Fargo Park District has named an interim director after the sudden resignation of the previous one. The park board says Dave Leaker is now in charge. He was previously the organization's deputy director. Former director Joel Vettel suddenly resigned on Tuesday. The park board is not saying what led up to the resignation. We reached out to Vettel and he told us in part, quote, "I did this job to the best of my ability, but I feel I can no longer continue in the role as executive director," end quote.